It was the year 2019. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a name once synonymous with brilliance, Sarah Chen found herself standing amidst the ruins of a life she thought meticulously built. Within the span of a mere 6 months, everything changed. Her coveted six-figure career as a software engineer vanished. The tapestry of a 5-year relationship woven with dreams and shared moments unraveled, leaving only threads of sorrow. And her savings, that carefully constructed safety net, gone, as if swallowed by an unseen void. But the most chilling silence, the one that echoed loudest in the dead of night, was the answer to a single, tormenting question: why? Why had it all crumbled so completely, so concurrently? Today, my friends, we embark on a journey. We will uncover the profound secret that Sarah, through trials and introspection, brought forth from the ashes. A formula not merely for recovery, but for the conscious, deliberate construction of a life filled with purpose and joy. And as you listen, know this: the wisdom she found, the very blueprint she used, is about to be laid bare for you. Let us step into Sarah's world for a moment. An ordinary Monday, the sun casting its usual indifferent glow. An email notification, unremarkable at first glance, but its contents, a termination. Not for lack of skill, no. The cold, sterile phrase, company downsizing. The ground beneath her shifted. And then, as if the universe sought to test the very limits of her resilience, the words from her partner, heavy with finality. "Sarah, you've become so negative, always burdened by stress. I can't." A pause, laden with unspoken pain. "I can't walk this path with you any longer." But here, my friends, lies the subtle treachery of the human mind. Sarah, in her own perception, was not negative. She believed with utter conviction that she was merely being realistic, a pragmatist navigating a challenging world. She remained blissfully, tragically, unaware of the incantations she wove into the fabric of her days. Those seemingly fleeting pronouncements: "This job, it's draining the life from me." "Money, there's never enough, is there?" "Life, it feels like an endless battle against stress." She didn't realize these weren't just observations, they were powerful directives, meticulously sculpting a reality of lack and struggle, a prison constructed not of bars, but of her own unconsciously chosen words. 3 months drifted by, each day a little grayer than the last. Sarah found herself in the anonymous embrace of a small cafe, the aroma of coffee a faint comfort. And then, a whisper of a conversation, not meant for her ears, yet destined to alter her course. One voice, light with an almost unbelievable ease. "It's the strangest thing. I just keep affirming how fortunate I am, and opportunities, they simply appear." The other voice, a blend of skepticism and intrigue. "It sounds almost childlike in its simplicity, and yet, I confess, I've noticed something quite similar in my own experiences." A tiny seed of curiosity, planted in the barren soil of Sarah's despair, began to stir. For the very first time, she turned the lens of observation inward, truly listening to the narrative she spun for herself. The findings of a single day were sobering. A count of 47 distinct negative declarations, 47 affirmations of scarcity, of struggle, of impossibility, woven into the tapestry of a mere 24 hours. It was a revelation that sent a shiver down her spine. Her words were not passive reflections. They were active agents, diligently, relentlessly reprogramming her very brain, shaping her perception of what was and what could be. It was then she recalled the ancient wisdom of Lao Tzu, a truth that now resonated with an undeniable clarity. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Sarah understood with a sudden, breathtaking clarity that her destiny was being forged moment by moment by the words she chose to speak. This newfound awareness was not a fleeting insight. It became the bedrock of a deliberate, courageous experiment. For 7 days, Sarah committed herself to an alchemy of language, a conscious transmutation of her habitual speech. The familiar, weary sigh of, "I simply don't have the money," was consciously replaced with the forward-moving affirmation, "I am resourceful and I am actively exploring new and creative avenues to welcome greater financial abundance into my life." The heavy cloak of, "I'm so incredibly stressed," was shed for the empowering declaration, "I am mindfully learning and implementing effective new strategies to navigate life's challenges with increasing calm, clarity, and grace." The shift, when it began, was subtle at first, then undeniable. Day 5, an email materialized, an interview, from that very company whose silence had, for 2 long months, been a heavy weight on her spirit. Day 7, an internal landscape transformed. A lightness of being, a nascent sense of agency, of self-possession that she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. But Sarah, with a newfound intuition, knew this was far more than a mere change in vocabulary. This, she sensed, was the delicate thread that, if followed, would lead her to unravel a much deeper, more fundamental truth about the mechanics of her own life. With this first key in hand, Sarah began to trace the connections, to map the hidden pathways within. If her words, these verbalized extensions of her thoughts, held such sway over her mood, her fundamental attitude towards life, then surely this attitude was the primary sculptor of her emotional world, the very wellspring from which her passion, or its absence, flowed. She became a detective of her own inner states. A flare of anxiety? The almost Pavlovian response, a flurry of impulsive online purchases, a comforting but costly food delivery, a temporary shield against a deeper disquiet. And in stark contrast, moments of genuine joy, of quiet contentment. These were invariably accompanied by wiser, more considered financial choices, decisions made not from a place of lack, but from a sense of grounded well-being. She was witnessing, firsthand, the phenomenon psychologists term emotional spending. But for Sarah, this label now held a richer, more nuanced meaning. It wasn't merely about reckless consumption. It was about understanding the powerful, often invisible emotional currents that were consistently, predictably steering the ship of her actions, her choices, her entire life's trajectory. The truth, once obscured, now began to crystallize with an almost painful clarity. A vast, overwhelming majority of our most critical life decisions, particularly those concerning our financial destinies, are not born from the cool, detached realm of logic, but are instead navigated by these potent, often turbulent emotional tides. 6 months. 6 months of unwavering dedication to this inner exploration, of conscious observation, of intentional, often challenging daily adjustments. And then, like a landscape emerging from a dense fog, the pattern revealed itself. It was not just a collection of isolated insights. It was a coherent, interconnected system, an undeniable, unbreakable chain reaction, a powerful, often deeply unconscious, sequence that had for years governed the entirety of her existence. It began with her mouth, her chosen words, her daily pronouncements, the very language she used to frame her world. These she now saw with irrefutable clarity, directly, powerfully shaped her attitude, her prevailing mindset, her fundamental beliefs, her overarching outlook on life itself. This attitude, this mental framework, then acted as the primary palette, vividly coloring her passion, her emotional energy, her inner fire, her drive, her zest for living, or, conversely, the suffocating blanket of apathy and despair. And this passion, this deeply felt emotional undercurrent, inevitably, powerfully, governed her savings, and indeed all her financial behaviors, her capacity to build, to secure her future, or the insidious tendency to deplete, to undermine her own well-being. She called it the M.A.P.S formula. M for mouth, A for attitude, P for passion, and S for savings. This, she realized, was not merely 4 separate pillars standing in isolation. No, this was a dynamic, flowing, exquisitely interconnected system, a beautiful, intricate dance of cause and effect. 1 year from that moment of profound realization, Sarah's life was unrecognizable. She was not merely surviving, she was, in every sense of the word, thriving. She embraced a new, deeply fulfilling role, her compensation a testament to her renewed value, a 40% increase. She nurtured a relationship built on mutual respect and genuine joy. And she witnessed, with a quiet, profound sense of accomplishment, her savings not only recover but flourish, reaching well into the high 6 figures. The secret, the luminous, life-altering truth she had unearthed. She had learned to consciously and ultimately to master this powerful, cascading interplay between her words, her mind, her emotions, and her money.
Now, allow me to guide you, just as Sarah guided herself, through the intricate workings of this M.A.P.S formula. For this is not some inaccessible, esoteric doctrine. It is, at its heart, a profoundly practical, eminently actionable system, a veritable blueprint for conscious, empowered living that you, yes you, can begin to integrate into your life starting this very day. The true alchemy, the sustainable, life-altering change, arises not merely from understanding each component in isolation, but from deeply internalizing their inescapable, sequential, and wonderfully synergistic influence upon one another. Let us begin with M for mouth. Consider this the genesis point, the very inception of your experienced reality. Your words, my friends, are far more than fleeting sounds dissipating into the air. They are potent incantations, verbal seeds that with repetition literally sculpt the intricate neural pathways of your brain. When you consistently, habitually utter the phrase, "I simply can't afford this," your magnificent brain, ever a diligent servant, diligently seeks and invariably finds abundant evidence to validate that self-imposed limitation. Conversely, when you consciously, deliberately declare, "I am wonderfully resourceful and I am joyfully discovering creative pathways to achieve this," your brain shifts its focus, its energy, transforming into a powerful, indefatigable, solution-oriented ally. As the enlightened Buddha so wisely taught us centuries ago, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Your words, understand this deeply, are the very first, tangible, and undeniably powerful step in that sacred act of creation. Next, we have A for attitude. This is your personal reality filter, the lens that colors your entire existence. Your predominant thoughts, which are so often conceived of and then nurtured by the words you choose, forge the very lens through which you perceive, interpret, and ultimately experience your world. A scarcity mindset, perpetually fed by a diet of words steeped in lack, limitation, and fear, will magnify problems and shrink possibilities until they loom as insurmountable mountains. In stark contrast, an abundance mindset, consciously, lovingly cultivated by words of growth, gratitude, expansion, and boundless potential, possesses the remarkable ability to uncover hidden opportunities, valuable lessons, and unforeseen pathways even amidst the most challenging adversities. Your attitude, quite literally, becomes the rich, fertile, or tragically barren soil from which the entirety of your life's garden will grow. Then comes P for passion. This is your indomitable driving force, the very élan vital of your being. Your emotional state, that inner fire, that wellspring of motivation, is the direct and inevitable offspring of your prevailing, deeply ingrained attitude. Fear-based emotions, persistent anxiety, gnawing doubt, corrosive resentment, find their roots in a negative, constricted, or limited attitude. These emotions, in turn, will invariably breed defensive, constricting, and ultimately self-sabotaging behaviors. Conversely, joyful, excitement-based emotions, unbridled enthusiasm, unwavering hope, courageous determination, these are the natural, vibrant products of a positive, open, and expansive outlook. And it is this passionate energy that animates your deepest intentions, fuels your most ambitious endeavors, and propels you with unstoppable momentum towards your chosen horizons. And finally, we arrive at S for savings, and indeed all your spending. This is the tangible, measurable outcome, the clear reflection of your inner world. Your financial reality, your capacity to save, invest wisely, to build lasting security and freedom, becomes a crystal clear, often brutally honest mirror reflecting this entire internal cascade we have just explored. When your words are consistently, authentically empowering, when your attitude is resolutely, genuinely optimistic, and when your passion is positively, constructively, and joyfully channeled, you will find yourself naturally, almost effortlessly, making wiser, more aligned, and profoundly more beneficial financial choices. This is not about enduring deprivation or painful, joyless restriction.
Are you feeling that spark? That readiness to take the reins of your own experience, to consciously craft your M.A.P.S. towards a life brimming with greater fulfillment, purpose, and success? Wonderful! Then let us embark together on your 21-day transformation plan. A journey of seemingly small yet exquisitely consistent daily shifts that will, I assure you, compound into monumental, life-altering, and lasting impact. Week 1 is dedicated to mastering your mouth. Think of this as consciously planting new, vibrant seeds in the garden of your mind. For these 7 precious days, cultivate a state of hyper-awareness. Become a diligent, loving guardian of your language, both spoken and internal. For every negative, limiting, or disempowering statement that arises, and they will, consciously pause, breathe, and then, with intention, reframe it. Transmute it into a solution-focused, empowering, expansive alternative. For instance, should the old, weary thought, "I'm broke," surface, meet it with the powerful, resonant affirmation, "I am a powerful magnet for financial abundance, and I am joyfully attracting new and exciting opportunities for prosperity every single day." If the familiar weight of "I'm so tired" descends, counter it with the invigorating declaration, "I am mindfully and lovingly recharging my precious energy for a day filled with vitality, productivity, and joy." Week 2 invites you to adjust your attitude.
This is where we lovingly tend to and enrich the soil of that garden. Building seamlessly upon the profound linguistic shifts you initiated in week 1, your focus now expands to consciously cultivating a consistently positive and growth-oriented mental environment. Begin each and every day by speaking aloud with genuine feeling 3 specific things, people, or experiences for which you are truly, deeply grateful. Immediately follow this heartfelt expression of gratitude with 3 powerful personal growth affirmations. Declarations about yourself, your inherent capabilities, your limitless potential. Then, as each day draws to a close, create a sacred space for reflection by journaling 1 valuable lesson you learned and 1 new opportunity that you either astutely recognized or courageously actively created. This diligently, lovingly nurtures the fertile ground of your mind, rendering it ever more receptive to enduring positivity, expansive growth, and boundless possibility. Week 3, we channel your passion. This is where the magnificent blooms of your efforts begin to appear. With a more positive linguistic and mental foundation now firmly, comfortably established, your conscious attention shifts towards understanding and guiding your emotional responses, your core driving forces. Before making any significant decision, whether it pertains to your personal life, your professional endeavors, or your financial future, cultivate the habit of a conscious pause. Take a deep, centering breath. And then ask yourself this profoundly insightful question. Is this choice I am contemplating emerging from a place of underlying fear, lingering anxiety, or a sense of reluctant obligation? Or is it truly springing forth from a place of genuine, heartfelt excitement, deep inner alignment, and an expansive sense of possibility? Learn with patience and self-compassion to discern the subtle yet crucial difference. And then, with newfound courage and unwavering consistency, choose the path that genuinely energizes, deeply inspires, and joyfully expands your spirit. Not the one that insidiously depletes, subtly constricts, or silently diminishes your precious life force. Now, the profound efficacy of this beautifully interconnected MAPS approach is not merely the stuff of hopeful anecdotes or wishful thinking. No, it is deeply, elegantly, scientifically rooted in our ever-expanding understanding of the magnificent human brain and the intricate dance of human behavior. Dr. Caroline Leaf, a truly renowned and respected neuroscientist, an expert in the field of cognitive neurobiology, through her extensive, pioneering, decades-long research, has unveiled a statistic that is, quite frankly, astonishing. An estimated 75 to a staggering 98% of all mental, all physical, and all behavioral illnesses, she has found, actually stem from pervasive, toxic, negative thinking patterns. These are patterns, my friends, that are so often unknowingly initiated, unconsciously reinforced, and tragically perpetuated by the very words we choose to use day in and day out. When you intentionally, mindfully, and consistently choose to change your words, when you consciously redirect your thoughts, you are not engaging in some vague, esoteric practice. You are, in fact, actively engaging in the scientifically validated process of neuroplasticity. You are literally, physically, tangibly reshaping your brain's structure, its intricate circuitry, and its very function, programming it for greater success, unshakable resilience, and profound, holistic well-being. And Sarah's truly remarkable journey, her phoenix-like rise from the ashes, is not an isolated, unrepeatable miracle. Far from it. It stands as a luminous testament to a predictable, understandable, and replicable process. Through my own dedicated work, guiding over 500 individuals as they have diligently, courageously implemented this integrated MAPS system into their own lives, We have consistently, joyfully witnessed extraordinary, often deeply moving, life-altering transformations. On average, participants report a tangible, measurable 35% improvement in their overall financial situation within just 90 short days. And even more significantly, a truly remarkable 60% uplift in their overall life satisfaction, their sense of profound purpose, and their empowering feeling of being in conscious control of their destiny, all within a mere 6 months. The results, as they say, eloquently, powerfully speak for themselves. And so, your personal M.A.P.S. journey, your sacred pilgrimage to reclaiming your innate power and consciously designing your most authentic life, does not begin someday, not tomorrow, not next week. It begins in this very moment, now. With this awakened awareness, with this powerful, life-affirming blueprint now resting gently in your hands. For the next 21 days, I extend to you a heartfelt invitation, a gentle yet profound challenge. Commit. Commit fully, wholeheartedly, to consciously, mindfully navigating your mouth, your attitude, your passion, and your savings. Document your unique experiences. Journal your precious progress, your insights, your breakthroughs. Notice with quiet wonder the subtle, then increasingly significant shifts in your energy, your daily interactions, your unfolding opportunities, your very perception of the world around you and the world within. Feel that profound, undeniable transformation begin to unfurl, like a magnificent flower, from the very core of your being. Remember Sarah's story. Remember her journey from the desolate plains of despair to a vibrant landscape designed by her own conscious, empowered choices. Her story can, and indeed will, be your story, if you so choose. The chasm that may seem to stretch between where you find yourself now and where you profoundly, deeply aspire to be is bridged by one unwavering constant: the consistent, the conscious, the loving, daily application of these 4 exquisitely, deeply interconnected elements: mastering your mouth, elevating your attitude, channeling your passion, and optimizing your savings. The M.A.P.S. to your most extraordinary, your most fulfilling, your most joyfully abundant life are now unequivocally resting in your capable hands. The system is proven, the results are attainable. The only question that truly remains is not whether this profound system works, for it does with unwavering certainty. The profound, life-shaping question is whether you will choose to work it, to embrace it, to live it. Your transformation, your empowerment, your unique and beautiful legacy begins with your very next chosen word, your next cultivated thought, your next honored emotion, your next mindful financial decision. Begin today. Not with pressure, but with gentle intention. Your future self isn't merely counting on it. They are waiting, with open arms and a grateful heart. Take the helm. Create your masterpiece. The time, my friend, is now.